These are in listen-only mode.
Right, good morning everyone. Welcome to this Learn from the Best webinar this morning. My name is David Colclough, Head of Member Education, and it's my pleasure to welcome this morning Nick Oakley from KPMG and Paul Keeling from England Golf to this PGA Pro in the Business of Golf webinar. Just to make sure you're on the line, Nick, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, David. Very well, thank you.
Great stuff. And Paul, you're there?
Yes, I'm here, David.
Okay,
good morning.
Great, good morning. For those people who are on the webinar this morning who haven't been on one previously, just a couple of quick pointers. If you wish to ask questions throughout the course of the webinar, then you'll find in your software, GoToMeeting software panel, a question tab where you can type a question. Those questions come to me, and during the presentation, if Nick or Paul are touching on a point that is being asked around the question, I'll get that question asked to them. Otherwise, we'll save some of the questions towards the end of the session after the two presentations that are coming up, and hopefully you can get your questions answered by Nick and Paul before the end of today. Just to set the scene, this webinar really comes forward from a session, two webinars that we've done. We've already done a webinar with John Weir and Ludovic Klutvik of the European Golf Course Owners Association, the UK Golf Course Owners Association, and the setting up to be a rainmaker with Ian James. And so in conversations that I've been having with Nick and Paul over the last couple of months, it's been interesting to see how these two gentlemen can have a lot to offer as regards that role of the PGA professional being at the heart of activity within a golf club. Interestingly, and just to sort of set the scene, KPMG released their golf participation in Europe 2011 report last week that I know Nick will go into, and that showed that 43,000 golf club registered golfers have left the game. Whether or not they're still in it, we don't know, and maybe Nick will touch on that as we go through. But I think both of them are very much key on explaining today how their organisations can help golf clubs grow their business, and in particular what the role of the PGA professional might be in making that business grow. So to get kick off, I'm going to just pass over control to Nick, if you're ready. And there we go, Nick, if you want to take control, we'll pass over to you.
Thanks, David.
Okay.
Okay, is that, there we go.
Yep, we're up there.
Okay, good morning. Thanks, David. Good morning, everybody. David, many thanks for inviting KPMG to be part of the webinar today. Just as a very brief and personal introduction, I'm a PGA member, and I worked in the UK before moving to the Middle East, where I worked for Dubai Golf in two of their properties, and eventually moved into the project management division. My final position in the UAE was to be director of golf at Aldar's property on Yas Island, the Yas Links course, before joining KPMG in 2010. I'm sure that for everybody that's listening, KPMG as a corporate and as a major of one of the world's major companies, some people may be interested in their association with golf, and I'm just going to run through very quickly the background and how that came about. So KPMG as a corporate offers audit, advisory, and tax services to 150 countries, 700 cities, and is one of the world's largest employers. I'm sure you will know that we have a sponsorship link to Phil Mickelson, and the Ryder Cup has been a sponsorship opportunity for us in previous years. We operate a niche practice out of Budapest, which offers industry services, golf industry services, to the markets of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And that service was established in 1999 by Andrea Sartori, and it provides industry-focused knowledge through a dedicated team here in Budapest with various different nationalities, but also utilises quite a strong global network. When we look at KPMG Golf and what we offer to the industry, our typical clients include developers, owners and operators of golf facilities, financial institutions, private investors. We also work closely with golf industry bodies and associations. And the typical services that we would provide would be market and financial feasibility studies, conceptualization, business planning, operational review, valuation and transactional services, and a lot of bespoke work as well for different clients. So hopefully this is starting to frame for those people that are not aware of how KPMG position themselves in the golf industry. We offer several initiatives to the golf industry as well. The forum, which some people on the line may have visited, is an annual event that we have over 350 participants from all over the globe. It's a business and a golf business and development focused show. But this year will be in Italy in September, so we look forward to maybe welcoming several people or anybody who's listening along to the show. We have the Golf Business Community, which is a website, a portal which we've set up to help to, one, host some of our research, which I'll move on to shortly, but also it gives us an opportunity to communicate and share some of the industry knowledge that we collect to the golfing public and the golf industry. And the final initiative is the benchmark survey. The benchmark survey, or let's look at it from a research perspective, the research that we offer to the golf industry is in various different formats, whether it be looking at national participation rates, as we're going to talk about shortly, or just general development and cost analysis. We've produced over 50 reports in the last 7 years, and a lot of operators, a lot of owners have really benefited from some of the benchmark opportunities and knowledge that we've shared. So one of those reports that I'm going to use today just to discuss very briefly was the golf participation report in Europe for 2011, as David just touched on there. We released the report last month, and it was the first time that we'd seen a decline in the participation rates in the golf industry. When we looked at the measurements, this was certainly measuring the number of registered players. So therefore, we can certainly assume that a lot of players that maybe are not choosing to take memberships are still participating in the game and are still playing golf regularly, but the discretionary spend or their membership fees maybe have not the way that they're choosing to spend their income. When we look at the countries that experienced decline, it was some of the major markets, the UK and Ireland, Sweden and Spain. And where we noticed there was growth and where growth was measured more in the German-speaking countries, the Netherlands, Finland and the Czech Republic. It all resulted in a net loss of approximately 46,000 registered players. And when we consider that there was no growth in the supply of golf courses, this leads to signs that the challenging economic conditions are still relatively set to continue. It's going to provide a changing environment for all of us, and with less memberships and more nomadic players, we really need to try to look and focus on how we're going to increase the participation, get more people playing the game, and what the impacts are going to have on the business. So, what I'd like to share in the following slides, just discuss some very basic but important facts that can be used when looking for the best direction to take, and certainly the ways that we're advising potential clients or clients to look at their business. For some people listening, this may seem a little simplistic, but I think the key fact here is that sometimes the simplest answers are the hardest to find. So when we look at how we're going to make increases, sorry, Dave, that seems to have a little bit of an issue with the computer here.
And if you just go out of the show and back in, will that help?
Let me just try and
Yep.
move it on.
Can you go back into your just sort of general PowerPoint out of full show, Nick, at all? Or shut it all down and just come back, just throw it back on? You've left us hanging here as well.
Sorry about it.
That's okay.
No, for some reason I can handle the webinar broadcast on the right, but the screen won't move on. It's frozen.
Okay. Well, do it. Shall we just go to Paul to give a little bit of background into the work that he's doing at England Golf and give you a bit of a chance just to try and get the computer working again, and then we'll come back at this point into your presentation after. Is that okay? Paul, you all right with that?
Yeah,
I'll just
sure.
just give me a second.
David, I think I've got it back working now.
Have you? Just give me a second.
Right, just let me try again. Sorry about this. Okay, I think Paul's got the screen. Whether you want to throw it back to me for some reason,
Yeah,
it's come
I'll throw it
on.
back. There you go.
There we go. Okay,
There we go. Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's
So,
okay.
apologies there. I'm not sure what happened.
Wonders of modern technology.
There's a gremlin in the system there.
That's
so
fine.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so we were talking about participation has declined and how we're going to look to make that increase. So increase is simple to say but very difficult to do. First of all, most obvious, we're going to increase the number of customers. So this is, as we said, very obvious, but when we look at take this into context of the type of customers that we're looking to attract to our business, that maybe makes it slightly more difficult. So we're not just looking to generalize across customers, we're trying to really focus on a specific type. We're then looking at the frequency and how often we deal with these customers. So that's time consuming. It certainly means that resources are going to be limited when we look to try and increase how often we spend with our clients and customers. But ultimately, if we're going to grow the business, this is a key factor of what we need to try to achieve. Then we can look at the average sale and how we increase the average sale. Now, whether that be from a price perspective, whether it be from a volume perspective, a margin perspective, there are certainly many factors we can consider when looking at how we increase average sale, and that can even be through reduction in cost to increase margin. But again, it's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but it's something that should be focused on and considered when we're looking to improve and grow the business. The final increase is to increase the efficiency of the systems and processes that operate the business. And when we're looking at improving efficiencies, we're going to talk in the next slide about various different aspects of a golf club and an operation that can do that. And I think that with the resources that the PGA provide, the English Golf Union, certainly some of the subjects that Ian and Ludovic and John spoke about in previous seminars, those systems and processes are continually being worked on by many PGA professionals and club managers, directors of golf. But the focus to try to really drill down and to look into detail of those systems and processes is a key to seeing the business grow. So when KPMG, or when we take a KPMG perspective on how we're going to look at evaluating these factors and how to implement some of the simple ideas that we've just presented there, we have a very simple four-step process that I can share with you, and I'm sure that many people listening will find and have implemented many of these different topics. However, when we look at the various inputs to give us an output, the first stage that we may consider would be the location of the facility, and we would look at accessibility. What is the journey radius that the customer can physically take? How much time are they spending in a vehicle to get to the facility? Whether it be members or green fee payers, whether it be corporates or societies that are looking to use the facility. Physically, what limitations does the location provide? And what can we anticipate and what can we draw from the market within inside that location radius? I think this is a majorly important factor that golf clubs and golf businesses need to understand to really know who to target. When we look at the surrounding land usage of residential, commercial, industrial, what are the land usages within your region and within your proximity that really can define how your marketing strategy starts to take shape. And then looking at the proximity to demand generators, where whether it is schools, leisure centres, health clubs, shopping centres, business parks, anything that creates a critical mass of people that can provide us marketing opportunities, that can provide us with further detail towards the general public that surrounds the facility and are going to be the key source of business for the golf club. Then we move on to the second stage, which is reviewing the market. And when we look into a market and we consider the demographic levels and the income levels of the target audience, whether it's the sex, whether it's the age, disposable income levels, all of these factors need to be considered when we're trying to understand the type of person, how we're going to introduce these people into the golfing environment. We can look at demand and profiles of customers, and also we can look at the competitive landscape, whether that be through case studies, whether it be through just reviewing generally the competition within the area. All of these factors will create an input into a decision that can be made as to which steps are the correct route to go down when looking to grow the business. And finally, or the third input, we need to look at the concept. Many facilities conceptualize themselves as private clubs, semi-private, pay and play. And really knowing the market and knowing the people that are, knowing the customers that are driving the revenue, that helps us to understand, is the concept correct? And are there any alternatives that we can suggest to increase participation at your club? Positioning and branding, knowing your place within that market and positioning yourself accordingly with a brand type and a brand style that focuses on the customers that are going to be continually visiting your property is very important. And finally, the operational strategy, getting that balance right between how many green fees and how many members can be allowed at certain times, what are the guests' expectations, what are the members' expectations, and most importantly, ensure customer service levels come into the operating strategy. How can we improve the systems and processes of the business so that our customer service expectation is greater? And all of this leads to an output at the end, the viability of the what are the potential, what's the price point that we can really try to drive into the business? And within that, what benchmarks do we have locally that shows that we are performing at the correct price? When we look at operational performance, management reporting, effective budgeting, all of these factors come from understanding the market and then delivering the product to the customers that are going to be visiting and being participating regularly at the clubs, and the reporting of how that gets measured is very, very important. So I'm sure Paul can come. Is going to be able to talk to us a little bit more about the UK market. But what we see across the regions that we work in is that management reporting is so effective when it's done correctly, and it really does help to strategize and to grow the business from one step to the next. And obviously, financial forecasting. If we're going to create budgets, if we're going to understand our forecast, it's very important to know the assumptions that are going to gather the data that's going to be used from the three inputs above to make those assumptions for future forecasts, whether it's CapEx planning or whether it just be generally understanding the potential business opportunity in the future. But it's not just about setting these forecasts, it's about measuring. And so with the examples that we've given, the first were very simplistic. Hopefully the second have helped to give a little bit more of an understanding as to how we can go about making those simple ideas a little bit more complex. I think what we can take from there is that the PGA Pro, and certainly as a PGA Pro, the understanding of the role and understanding of how the pro influences golf clubs is really very, very important to how the participation rate grows within the golf clubs. So identifying that the role is changing is very important. I think we're all aware of that. I think understanding the market and making educated decisions based on the surrounding environment and the market that we all operate within is critical. And whenever we're presenting opportunities or ideas, they should always be presented with method rather than just opinion. And again, questioning whether the club has a plan. How can the PGA professional assist, and how can you basically be part of the future of that plan? I think applying some of the, or I hope that applying some of the examples that we've used there, which have been touched on very simply and very basically, but hopefully this can give a little bit of foresight as to how a company like KPMG or a company that is working across many sectors would try to simplify the golf business and bring an opportunity where golf professionals that are working with inside that business can really add value. Okay, David.
Nick, that's great. Thank you very much for that overview. That's really good and some really useful information there, which I think, as you said, ties in really well with Ian James's messages and the messages from John Weir and Ludovic as well. I'm going to just go straight over to Paul. Paul, if you're ready, I'm just going to give you the presenter's key.
Yep, have you got that, David?
Yep, we got you there. England Golf. So,
Good.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, David. Good morning, everybody. Very interesting listening to Nick there on a European and global perspective from KPMG. We obviously follow very closely the reports that KPMG put out because it allows us to look at the industry across Europe as well as what's happening in the UK. England Golf. The new England Golf merged in January with the ladies. Exciting times here. My role is to deliver golf club facility best practice guidance and support to club officials. I stress that, working closely with the PGA, GCMA, BIGA, etc. These associations obviously play a key role in golf facility management, and it's England Golf's job to try and get the message across to the club officials, whether they be proprietors, committee members, depending on the structure of the club. My background, I come from 10 or 12 years in golf club management. Before coming to England Golf, I was at Longcliffe Golf Club in Leicestershire and then at Minchinhampton down in the lovely Cotswolds. And I came to England Golf about 6 years ago with a view to developing management guidance for the national governing body. We look after 1,950 clubs roughly in England. And now we have the ladies on board. That includes 800,000 members of clubs, so it's quite a big task we have. So I'm just going to run through some of the initiatives, some of the tools that we have for golf clubs, and then the message that we are trying to get out to golf clubs, which is very important for the committee members and PGA professionals to understand, because we're all in this together, and the changing landscape of the golf business means that it's not greatly pretty out there at the moment, so it's key for everybody to pull together. Just the first slide is a few examples there. We at England Golf work to a strategic plan, and I've just put a few just identified a few relevant pieces from the club services section of the business plan, really just to get the message over to everybody that, as I said, we are here to assist the golf clubs, help with and promote advice to golf clubs so that they can develop their policies and practices to drive sustainable business management. Sustainable is the buzzword these days, whether it's environmental or business, but it's very key that they understand that unless they change now, or look to change now, their structures and their policies and procedures, they will inevitably go round in a circle and come back to where they are now in 5 years' time, which is not good for the game. We share best practices, and all that we still maintain traditions of the game. It's very important that modern business practices and aspirations can fit into that business model. And as I said earlier at the start, that we work very closely with other bodies and associations, so that there's uniformed and qualified information going back to the golf clubs. So a committee member can go to any one of the different associations, ask the same question, and hopefully they'll get the same answer, which sort of gets the message home. Methods of support, we break these down into about 4 areas roughly. I'm not going to go into depth because you'll see where these are. We deal with legislation. We represent golf at Westminster whenever anything comes up. The hot topic this week is water management and drought orders, so we are busy with that at the moment. But any one of these areas of legislation, if we need to, we will consult with the experts in other associations accordingly. Business support, obviously, that is what we're talking about today, and I'm not going to go into too many of these because we've got a few slides to cover these as we go forward. There's all kinds of different areas where we support. One of our key areas that we concentrate on at the moment is GolfMark, because that methodology takes golf clubs through, gets them to implement the relevant documentation, and shows that they are a user-friendly, nice place to go and play golf. We also, obviously, the golf course being the biggest asset, we spend a lot of time assisting golf clubs in the management of their golf courses, from greenkeeper training, policy, maintenance, and everything else that goes along with looking after the hundreds of acres that we have in our industry. And finally, we try and make it easy for the golf clubs to access the information, so we have knowledge banks, and we don't want golf club committees to think they've got to go and reinvent the wheel. We will get the consultants involved to develop these tools, and they can come online, go to the website, contact us direct, and we will give them that information. So let's go into one or two of these areas a bit more. There's a sample of the strategy support and the business practice guidance that we offer. It's very difficult getting to the right people at the golf club to make them aware that we have these in place. Business appraisals and turnaround planning. I'll go into that over the next couple of slides, but the business plan. This has come about following 3 or 4 years on the road doing marketing workshops with golf clubs, and when I do a presentation, I do on the trends in the business and the changing landscape. I often ask the delegates present from the clubs who has a business plan, who works to a business plan, and frighteningly enough, and I think David alluded to the same kind of stat when he was delivering a presentation to the development conference here at Woodall last week, that only about 5% in our experience of golf clubs actually work to a business plan, which is quite frightening. So we look at the business plans, the club structures, incorporation, the roles and responsibilities of the key officers in the club, and we help them out with the constitutions for the clubs and job descriptions and contracts that are involved with obviously the staff that are involved at the club. And one of those being which we have actively promoted over the last month or so, is obviously the PGA's job descriptors. Now has never been a better time for clubs to engage their PGA Pros expertise in developing the club business, and they should be integral in that, because the results we have seen will be mutually beneficial both to the club and the pro. A healthy golf club with lots of happy members means a healthy pro shop, and the pro providing plenty of service. So, you know, we're, as I say, we're all in this together, and we are actively promoting the job descriptors. So watch out when that hits their desk. So, as I say, we've been doing marketing for a number of years now, try and get the golf clubs to understand that they do have to go to use marketing now. They need to get up to speed with marketing, because the drop in membership that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years means that now 90% of golf clubs no longer have a waiting list, and there are 1.5 million nomad golfers out there in the UK, free golfers, and we need to look at selling them a product that they want to buy if we want to get them to become members of our golf clubs again. So, and I say, we provide all the toolkits that go with it. Another area which has come around over the last couple of years, using my knowledge of golf businesses, as golf clubs have contacted me and found themselves in difficulty, I've been asked to go out and sort of run a fresh pair of eyes over the golf club business to see if I can identify any areas beneficial to the club. Sometimes it's a very late approach, when clubs have been close to talking to administrators rather than the bodies involved. But we have a reasonable success rate. We've turned 1 or 2 round, and we do this quite simply, and that is by implementing modern business methods, which Nick's described earlier in his presentation. Getting them to understand that they are a business is the first challenge, and I say, developing all the business strategy that they need to move them, turn themselves around and move forward. And we do this with like I said, a 7-stage easy process for them to follow. We handhold while they go through this process. Say step 1, sometimes it is putting out the fires, it is talking to the banks, it is helping them to put business plans together so that the bank understand where they're going, financial plans so the bank understand where they might develop some surpluses or profits over a 3 to 5 year period. Then, as I say, run fresh pair of eyes over the business, and the big thing is to eradicate waste. Whenever I go into a golf club, I can generally find half a dozen areas where money is being spent, and I often ask the question, why do you do that? Why do you spend money in that area? And for example, why do you advertise in the local, golf newspaper in March? Well, we've always done it then. It doesn't make it right. They're not monitoring, feedback, return on their marketing investment. So we look at all areas, but a lot of money can be saved in golf clubs just by identifying it, asking the question, why are you spending that? Step 3, most importantly, is the business strategy. You've seen all the tools that we have available and that everybody promotes. Golf clubs can't expect to do business with banks and get support from banks if they haven't got the basic policies and structures in place. So we make those available to the clubs. A sustainable competitive advantage. These are all buzzy business words, but the long and the short of it is they need to look at, do all their analysis, their SWOT analysis, to understand where they are and how they can build a product which 1, people want to buy, and 2, will dominate the niche in the market for them, so that they can look at keeping themselves in the marketplace and replacing the members that they will lose each year through natural wastage. We look at marketing. We have a complete marketing knowledge bank. We've picked up on all the successful case studies that we've seen with golf clubs, all the successful initiatives, and we've adopted those and tried to move those around. Step 6 is very important. That is the operational management, and that is the delivery of a whole customer experience. And you've got to make promises to deliver that customer that experience. Golf clubs need visitors. They will not generate new members without visitors, and it's key. The golf professional, PGA professional is key in that area. The first port of call, the first impression that a visitor will get of that golf club, and a good golf professional can make them feel comfortable, and the start of their experience is or will be an enjoyable one if everybody understands what the policy is. And from then on, it's continuous improvement, just looking at everything that goes around the business. And finally, with all aspects of business, there needs to be KPIs involved. Everybody needs to know whether you're the pro, whether you're the manager, whether you're in the house, whether you're on the greens. Everybody needs to know what their performance indicators are and strive to achieve those. And they can be written into contracts. They can be built into a whole system. So that's what we do with the golf clubs. That's the methodology we like to use and like them to adopt, so that they can build, as I say, that sustainable business. The strategy, this is our message that's going out to golf clubs at the moment. Golf clubs will only succeed if they have effective management structures and policies in place. They need business plans, immediates and futures. They need marketing plans. They need financial plans. But where most golf clubs fall down is they forget to bring everybody with them. So they need the member support, and certainly they need the support of the staff team to move it forward. We're getting through to golf clubs, trying to explain to them, these are just snippets of what we do. 21st century marketing is quite a big thing for golf clubs to understand. When you look at the stats, our BRS, who are one of the biggest tee time software providers in the UK, their stats now show them that 72% of golf bookings are made between 7 and 10 at night. And whenever I do this presentation in front of a room full of club managers or PGA professionals, they all tell me their shops and their offices are open at between 7 and 10 at night. Are they? I'm not quite so sure. But for those golf clubs that aren't, develop tools to get to these 1.5 million free nomad golfers out there who are doing their golf bookings at this time, they are losing business. So the emphasis is on golf clubs to be more technologically proactive, because people, whatever we do in life now, we want to look, book and pay online. Simple as. And online tee booking is the way forward. It's very difficult to get golf clubs to understand this at the moment, but they will have to react to this if they are going to succeed in the business. And again, the PGA golf professional is integral in this area, because they're the general first point of contact whenever anybody is trying to make a booking to play golf. Other tools that we have developed, this was John Weir from the UK Golf Course Owners Association, and I went to a company called CACI some 2 years ago now, because we understood that golf clubs need the information in order to market properly. So what we've produced is a local market review document, which allows golf clubs to target market. The golf club sends us their memberships postcodes. We don't ask for names and addresses, just the postcode and the relevant membership category that person is. We feed it into the machine, into the software, and it produces a number of reports identifying the total market population in the 10, 20 and 30 minute drive time of the golf club. Very important because obviously you get different different engagement with the club from visitors that live different distances away. It tells the golf club where it's the competition that it has from other golf clubs, so how many golf clubs it's sharing that total demographic with. But also it identifies the different bands of demographic in the area, and it even drills down to show the golf club where there are potential new members to be targeted. And the report you'll see is one from around the Bristol area, and it identifies the category of person, comfortably off, wealthy achievers. Other categories in there are moderate means, etc. And these, then obviously the golf club has the opportunity to decide what they're going to offer the different category of person. Wealthy achievers, you would probably target them with a full membership offer. Somebody with moderate means, you know, somebody like me with a couple of girls at home who tend to enjoy spending dad's money, you know, I might be more interested in a lifestyle membership or a flexible membership, which allows me to engage with the golf club with a membership fee, but also, if I'm not playing that regularly, to just pay a agreed fee as well as part of my membership. All the other leisure industries do it, gymnasiums, health clubs, etc. I can guarantee they will have a category of membership for every single lifestyle there is, and that's what golf clubs need to be looking at. So this is available to the golf clubs. Also important, we try and get the golf clubs to understand they need to get the message out there, and we advise them that they need to do a Google search for golf in Lincolnshire, and I guarantee all these websites will come up in the top third of Google, and they need to engage with all of these, because if they want to get the message out to the mass market, these are the places to do it. So we take them through social media, working on Facebook, etc., to search engine optimize their websites. As I said earlier, we try and put most of the information, or all of the information we have online. We've just changed our website. The branding on the top corners you will see has not changed yet. That will change to England Golf on around about the 1st of April. These things take time, I'm afraid. But the website itself, we've created 3 dedicated portals, and the tab for golf clubs. You can hover over that, drop-down menu comes down, and it will give you all the different areas of initiatives and resources, club operations, policies, procedures, and club marketing. Everything that we can goes online. Everything that we can't get on there, we make readily available, either direct from my team, whenever we can. So that's where you can find all the information you need. Also in there, there's a lot of information on the development side. I work very closely with Richard Flint, the development manager, and all the development teams initiatives are on there. Getting to golf, taster sessions, information about how to get to your county development officers and regional development officers to get their support for any initiatives the clubs have on at any one time. So that's where we are. That's the message we're getting out to golf clubs. The landscape has changed. Golf clubs need to evolve, and we don't need to tell them what happened to the dinosaurs. And if they want to be one, that's what will happen. They will become extinct. But Club Services offers the business support that the clubs need. All they need to do is come and ask. That's me, David.
Thanks, Paul.
That. My contact details are up there.
Okay, thanks, Paul. And just in summing that up as well, if we have PGA professionals out there who maybe aren't at a facility that currently is taking advantage of your services, do they need to come through the golf club to you, or could they come directly to you as a PGA professional and say, look, our golf club really needs your help. Can you help? which is the best way?
Absolutely, they can come directly to club services.
Okay.
We need to get the golf clubs to understand, and I don't mind whether that comes through the golf professional, or the golf professional goes into the golf club and to the manager or secretary and says, let's get on this together.
Okay.
Let's have a look at what the union has to offer and go forward.
Okay, perfect. I mean, Nick, have you any other comments? I mean, there's clearly quite a lot of parallels there with the work that you do at KPMG and the work that Paul's doing for England Golf. I mean, in particular, some of the demographics work there that you touched on in your four-stage model looks like a fantastic resource to identify the type of people you've got around your facility.
No, absolutely. I think there's a lot of synergies there in relation to maybe not just the way that KPMG looks at the golf business, but looking at businesses in general. And I think the tools that you rightly said that the English Golf Union are providing at the availability, how easily they are available to everybody, it really shows that the knowledge base and the way that certainly golf professionals can maybe introduce these initiatives to clubs is just going to add more value to the position.
And what struck me from both of your presentations this morning is that you talked primarily, I guess, about facilities that might be in trouble or facilities that are not yet built. Within the golf coaching community, you would encourage a golfer to go and see his PGA professional when he's playing well as when he's playing poorly. Does that translate across to the business practice, that you would encourage facilities to come and see you when things are going well as when things are at their sort of final death's door as such?
Yeah, I mean, what we find, David, is that golf clubs move themselves round, they turn themselves around, they develop the businesses and put policies and procedures in place. The biggest problem within golf, more the private members golf clubs, is continuity. A committee will change and the chairman will change, and they sometimes take their eye off the ball. And this is what I say about them ending up back where they were after 5 years. They build it up, take their eye off the ball, and they come back to where it is. It's so important that the PGA Pro and the club manager and the guys that are there for a number of years just keep nudging the message home that the golf clubs need to continue to look and develop the businesses and look at their business plans and models to keep, like I say, on top of the game.
And presumably, sort of the business plan is a pivotal part of that. I mean, Nick, from your experience, if you're looking at some of the real big people that you're dealing with, presumably everything's written down and everything's continuously measured, but that doesn't seem to be the case in some of the examples that we've seen within maybe the private golf club sector.
Yeah. No, I think if we look at a great example here is when we look at some of the management groups, the very successful management groups, and certainly the ones that we deal with have either assisted or have worked with, and the management groups that are effectively increasing their portfolios, they are significantly managed to grow their businesses. They have implemented the planning stages well in advance of maybe even operations starting, or the purchase of before staff are on board. So and that plan is something that is never static. It's always adopted. It's a moving target, if you like, and it's always needing to be reviewed, changed according to the environment, according to the challenges that are faced. But I think the one commonality here is that the management companies can only grow if they have these plans in place, these strategic plans. And even though an individual golf course or an individual golf pro that maybe not be part of a buying group or maybe operating on his own, he can still use the same mentality, methodologies that these guys are using. He may not have the resources available to him, and it may require some considerable foresight. But it's as I said, it's just methodology and really trying to think what is the critical analysis that needs to be done. What what information is going to really help me to make an educated decision. And once you've collected that information, then you can be informed and you can present yourself, whether it be for financial investment opportunities or even just for career growth. It shows that you've made the correct decision-making process in doing so. Perfect.
I think that's a really good place to finish today's webinar, Nick. Nick and Paul, thanks very much on behalf of everybody who's tuned in this morning, but also the guys that will listen to this once it goes live onto the PGA Member Education website. It's been really enlightening. I think this adds to the number of resources that PGA professionals have at their disposal now to be more effective, more influential at a golf facility. And thank you very much for your time today, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch up again very soon. Thanks, Nick. Thanks to Paul. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.